Hello, and welcome to the Freedom with Marketing podcast. I'm Sam, the founder of Freedom with Marketing, and in this podcast episode, I want to share with you one of my most exciting parts of marketing and business, and that is how to maximize the lifetime value of your coaching clients. So this video will be about coaching clients, but the same concepts will directly apply if you are a service provider working with clients, if you are a consultant, and if you work with anyone to provide a service. So in this video, in this podcast, first of all, why you want to focus on getting repeat customers and clients. The reason is essentially down to cost and time and energy and effort, and more specifically why having repeat clients is far more expensive and it's far easier to get results, which makes it much more sustainable for you to get recurring revenue without your costs going up, which is how you increase your profit margins. I want to share with you exactly how you can get a one-time client to become a repeat client, and this is something that the vast majority of your competition are not doing. We'll go into the reasons behind this and then how you can make sure that you don't fall into that trap and what you can do to capitalize on it so you can always be way ahead of your competition. We'll talk about how you can create new offers in order to get one-time customers and clients to become repeat clients. And we'll talk about ways that you can do that and give some examples. Then I want to give you a couple of examples of how I took a client who paid me $1,000 and got that same client to then give me $30,000 or more. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was probably more than $30,000. And also how I had a client pay me more than $180,000, even though I was fired from them 3 times. Being fired was not my fault at all. We'll talk about what happened there, and then how I then continued to get them to pay me and as an ongoing thing, and how you can apply this yourself. And finally, I want to give you an action step on what you can do right now in order to actually implement this. So if you have existing clients in some kind of an offer, what you can do right now to get your existing clients and your former clients to sign up and to join your programs again. So I'm super excited to dive in. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. It's something that I have a lot of experience in. It's what I do myself. In my business, I want to focus on getting long-term retainer clients that I can partner with over the long term. And it's something that I've helped clients do in the past. And it's just really fun and exciting to talk about. So let's dive in. So how to maximize the lifetime value of your coaching clients. So what is lifetime value? I'm not sure what the dictionary definition of it is, but the name lifetime value pretty much speaks for itself, and it kind of means that how much will a single client pay you on average throughout their lifetime experience with your company. So if you only have one offer, and let's say your offer is a $27 video training program, and that is the way your business is, you only sell your video training program for $27. The lifetime value of your client is $27. If you then sell your $500 a month group coaching program to people who buy your $27 book, a certain percentage of, let me repeat that. If you then sell your $500 coaching program to people that have bought your $27 video training program, then the lifetime value goes up because some of your clients would have paid $27 and then $500. Now, what if you have one-on-one coaching which costs $3,500 afterwards? and a percentage of people buy that as well. So suddenly, some of your clients would have paid $27, $500, and $3,500. And then what if you get people to pay you $1,000 a month, basically for months and years to come? And then the lifetime value there is just a factor of time, how many months and years can you get them to pay. So the whole point here is that what you want to think about is you need to calculate the lifetime value of your clients. I'm not going to dive into how to do that because off the top of my head I'm not sure what the mathematics are. It's pretty easy to find. In fact, you can just type it into Google or ChatGPT and it'll do it for you. But what you want to do is you want to calculate the lifetime value of your customers and clients, and then you want to find ways that you can increase this. And then if you know that on average your clients are going to pay you $20,000 on average, then you would be quite comfortable paying $5,000 in order to acquire a $20,000 client over the long term, because that would be a 4x return on your investment, even if you're losing money on the front end. And this is basically the way that it kind of works. So that's what lifetime value is and why you should do it. And if you focus on getting repeat customers and clients, so they pay you month after month, year after year, this is how you can solve your cash flow problems. This is how you can solve inconsistent clients, and this is how you can scale your income in your business permanently. And the reason is because if you have a customer and client, when they go through your coaching program, they go through the onboarding. They have to learn your process, how to work with you, how things are. They'll go through it. You may need to spend more time working with them to start off with. They may need more coaching to start off with until they get the initial traction and momentum. The first time someone works with you, it's a bit more costly in time, energy and effort for you to deliver the result. But if they become a repeat customer and client, they typically buy into your process. They know the way you do things. They like what you do. They already have the motivation. So it often takes less time, energy and effort on you in order to deliver the service. You also don't have to pay anything extra in advertising cost in order to get them there, because quite simply a lot of the times you can just invite them to join your next offer. So what happens is you don't have to pay any more money to advertise or to acquire the first time customer or client, but them still paying you month after month. Your expenses your expenses increase just a little bit because you have to service them, but the cost of servicing a repeat client is often less than it is for the first time client. So your expenses are going up ever so slightly, but month after month, more and more people are paying you a monthly fee. So your revenue goes up and up and up, while your expenses go up just a little bit. And so the difference between the revenue and your expenses is your profit. This is how you can have more and more profit month after month after month. And that's because more people pay you month after month after month, while your expenses remain relatively stable. You don't have to worry about having inconsistent clients because you have repeat clients who are paying you long term month after month after month. And this is how your income will scale. And when you have that extra income, it's probably a good idea, I'll encourage you to then make sure you have 3 to 6 months of cash reserves cover business expenses just in case. And then when you have the extra revenue, you can reinvest it back into your business for whatever it is that you want to do. But it's all kind of down to that you're having these repeat clients paying you money. So I read a quote today inside the Peaceful Profits newsletter. If you're not signed up to the Peaceful Profits newsletter, I highly recommend it. They send it every month. Lots of really good stuff about how to sell your offers and make more money in your business. And the quote was that the easiest person to sell to is someone that you've already sold to. And that really makes sense, because if you think about it, in order to make that first transaction, there's always the doubt in your mind that this is a legitimate person. There's always the doubt that, are they going to deliver the results that they say they are? Am I going to get scammed? Am I going to lose my money? So there's always that initial doubt to start off with when you make the first transaction. but you make the first transaction, you go through the process, you get a result, you're happy with the result that you get, and someone invites you, do you want us to help you get more results like this? It's much easier to say yes, isn't it? Because you've gone through the initial doubt and skepticism, you've worked through it all, and you've got the result. It's easier to say yes to becoming a next time client. And that leads into the other quote that you've probably heard multiple times before, that a repeat customer is someone that has bought from you before is approximately 10 to 16 times more likely to buy from you again than it is for someone to become a first-time customer or client. You've heard that before, most likely. It's super common. I'm not sure who first coined the term, but it kind of stands true. And this is sort of what we want to use as a foundation for building the business, and that is, you get a first-time customer or client, you deliver an exceptional result and an exceptional experience. They really like working with you, they've got good results, they've got good rapport, and then you get them to join more long-term continuity-based offers where they pay monthly or annually afterwards. And that's the concept, and that's what I want to share with you how to do in this video. But first, I want you to imagine a scenario. In fact, I want you to imagine two scenarios. And these two scenarios, these are real. They have happened to me. I have experienced both of these. In fact, it was me who is the person in the story that actually bought the programs in both scenarios. So this is 100% possible in your business. You may not be in a position yet with a target audience, or you might not be in a position yet to do this, but it's something to work towards. So the first scenario is, imagine that you wake up one day and you decide that you want to make $100,000, six figure, and you write an email. The email takes 5 minutes to write. You then have a pre-written reply, or you've recorded a 5-minute video and you've given this to your team. So a few days later, your team send out the email, your team send out the 5-minute video you recorded. So in total, it took you 10 minutes to write. Your team have done all of the rest, and then all of a sudden you have $100,000 deposited in your bank account. How would that make you feel? Probably by me saying that you think I'm talking rubbish, you think I'm skeptical, you think it doesn't work, but it did, and it worked for me. It actually happened to me. I was the person that paid the money. It worked like this. So I was a customer and client of an agency for a long time. I'd bought most of their video training programs, I'd listened to all the podcasts, listened to them on repeat, applied the stuff, really liked them. One day I received an email saying, hey, I'm thinking of putting together a 12-week copywriting coaching program. This is the outcome you're going to learn, this is what you're going to do, this is what's going to happen, are you interested? I said yes. And what happened next was I got a pre-written reply, automatically sent out, with descriptions of what the offer is, all the details. The price is $5,000. Am I interested? At the time, I had about $12,000 to my name, so it was a pretty big investment, but I could very, very clearly see how I'd get a return on investment within a few months, and how I could legitimately use this to charge more with the clients I work with. I decided to go for it. I made the payment. It was all done by email, no sales call, and that was it. I joined this 12-week coaching program. A week or two later I joined, and there was me and 19 other people in there, which means there was a total of 20 people within this coaching program, and they all paid $5,000 each. Now, that literally meant that the owner of this agency sent out a single email that took them a few minutes to write, and had $100,000 deposited in their bank a few days later. Yes, it took the team time to have the conversations and make sure the money got paid and all of this other stuff, but that's what happened. Now, the key point here is that the people who said yes, like me, would have been people that have bought all of their video training programs in the past. I'd bought their $99 video training program, loved it. I then bought their $499 program on writing sales letters. And then I went on to buy a $2,000 program, which is about email marketing, daily emails and nurture content and all of that good stuff. And so I bought 2, 3, maybe even 4 of our video training programs in the past, gone through it myself and listened and consumed the podcast. I was already a repeat customer and client. They just sold me a group coaching program which was at a higher price point, and I said yes, absolutely, I'm interested, and jumped in. So my lifetime value pretty much doubled simply because I had signed up to it. So I bought a $2,000 program in the past, $500 program, and maybe a $99. So in the past I'd given them $2,600. And then when this came along, I jumped at it, despite not having a lot of money, because I'd already bought the other programs, and then I gave them another $5,000. This is how it can work. And what happened was, out of the 20 people, halfway through, the business founder, he then said, actually, we've got a done-for-you service. The price of a done-for-you service is $25,000. Would anyone like to join? Now, you'd think that people would have just paid $5,000. I'm going to say, what? You're asking me for $25,000 again? No way. And be a bit upset about it. No. With certainty, I know that at least 3 people signed up for it and took them up on that offer. Potentially 4. But I know for certain 3, potentially 4 people then paid them an additional $25,000. So at the very least, this little funnel that they had going, which took 5 minutes to do from a single email, would have generated them at least $175,000, perhaps $200,000. And all of this is because it's from people that have bought from them in the past. And then quite literally, some people paid them $5,000, and then almost 20% of the people in that group coaching call, maybe it was 20%, then went on to give them $25,000 more, 5 times more than what they paid. That's just how these things work. And this is just there to illustrate that this is possible, and this can be possible for you. Yes, you do need to have business systems in place. Yes, you do need to have various products and services that you already have, but it's just there as an example of what's possible. So the next scenario I'd like you to imagine is, imagine that you are currently working with your coaching clients, and each coaching client pays you a monthly fee. Now, how would you feel if after 6 months of working with this particular coaching client, instead of them deciding that they don't want to continue working with you, which is quite common after 6 months or so, that they actively want to work more with you, they're happy to keep paying you the monthly fee. It takes you much less time to work with them. They know your system, they know what you're doing, so it takes you less time, and they actually want to help you in your business as well. Well, that's pretty much what's happened with me and my running coach. So I found my running coach after I didn't finish a race for the second time, the same race for the second time, and I was already a fan of his podcast, and then he just mentioned a few weeks after this happened that, hey, I'm taking coaching, I'm going to become a full-time coach, I'm taking on more clients, anyone who's interested, email me here. So within a few minutes I emailed him, a few days later we had a call, yes, I want to join. So in the first few months I had 1,000,001 questions for him, and I was literally asking him 10 questions a day on WhatsApp, and he has to type out the replies, he has to send voice notes, he has to send all these things, because I'm giving him these, I'm asking all these questions because I'm trying to understand the process. I want to understand what's happening. And it took him a lot of time, energy and effort to start off with, and I'm pretty sure that I was his most intense client to start off with in the first couple of months. But then things started to smooth out, and then where we're at now, almost 12 months on, is that I'm still paying him his monthly fee, but he programs my workouts, which takes him a matter of minutes per month, per week. I still ask him questions on WhatsApp, but not so much, and we have a monthly call, and that's pretty much it. And because we've sort of developed a good rapport and started to develop a friendship, I'm trying to help him in his business because I can see where he's having the problems, and I'm suggesting to him that this is how you can do it. In fact, I've even got my own assistant on my team to go and help him with various things, so that he can free up more time in his business to do more things. But yeah, I'm still paying him a monthly fee because I'm his client. And again, this is something that's equally possible as well for you, is that if you have the long-term coaching clients, you deliver them an exceptional experience because you have really good rapport, they actually like you, you build trust, you build friendship over time, and they're going to want to continue working with you, especially if the fee is relatively low, and they're going to want to continue to be your client even after they've got the result. And that's how you can do things if it's a relatively low amount per month, if it's a couple of $100. And then what you'd do there is you'd want to have a lot of people, you'd want to be working with a lot of people who pay a couple of $100 per month, and you want them to continue paying month after month because you deliver an exceptional experience and results. So that's another scenario of what it could be like for you, that you could have your coaching clients that you have now, but it would require 80% less of your time in order to deliver the same results for them, but them still paying you the same amount as well. And this is how you would get paid the same amount with a significantly less amount of time, which per unit of time that my running coach works with me now is substantially higher than when we first met. And that's another goal that you can aim for, and that's what you can do if you set out by from day one. You want to sort of plan how you can do this, how you can have these relationships with clients over the long term. So that's it. So the next part of the podcast is I'm going to talk to you about why it is the most cost-effective decision you can make, the most financially astute decision you can make to focus on getting long-term clients, and how this is the way to predictably, sustainably, consistently increase your profit margins. The more money your company has, the more cash you have, the less you have to worry about money. The less you have to worry about money and financial burdens and these money monsters, the more time, mental energy, emotional energy you have to actually work on growing your business and do it what you like. So let's dive in. So the first thing is, let's go through the process of getting a new client. So I'll go through the most common way that people get, I'll go through one of the most common ways that people get new clients, because it's the easiest to understand, and that is you run ads to get people to become your client. So I'm going to just use a super simple funnel, which would be you run ads to get people to book a call. People book a call, you convert them to become clients. Now, there are different ways to do this. You might want to run ads to a low priced offer and then build your buyers list, deliver results, and then upsell them later. But I don't want to complicate things. I just want to use this as an example to clearly illustrate what the point is, so that you know what I'm talking about. You can see it clearly in your mind's eye, and then you can extrapolate the concept, apply it to your situation, and then hopefully you want to take the concept here and kind of run with it. So let's say you have a $5,000 offer, just for number's sake. In order to sell your $5,000 offer, you need to spend $1,000 on ads. You spend $1,000 on ads, you make $5,000 in sales. Yay. On the surface, it looks like you've got a 5x return on your investment. Not the case. What's actually the case is perhaps you have a sales team. The sales team might get a 20% commission. So 20% of 5,000 is 1,000. This means you spent $1,000 on ads. You've then given your sales team $1,000 in commission. Your $5,000 is then $3,000 in profit. Next thing is you need to have or let's assume you have a team and a system in place in order to deliver the service. Again, this is just for the point of illustration. And so let's say it costs on average $1,000 in order to service one client within your group coaching program. So in this scenario, you've spent $1,000 on ads, you've given your sales rep $1,000 in commission, and it costs $1,000 in order to deliver the result. So now you have spent $3,000 to make $5,000. Your net profit here is $2,000. Still, that's good, but it's cost you $3,000 in order to make the $5,000. Now, when you have a repeat client, they've already gone through the coaching program, they already know your process and system, and they've already gotten the results, and you simply invite them to continue paying, to continue working with you on an ongoing basis. Now, let's say, for example, that your first offer is a 3-month program, and then let's say that you give them 12 months of ongoing coaching and support for another $5,000. Again, just for numbers' sake. So, in order to get people into your first offer, it's cost you $3,000. In order to get people into the second offer, let's have a look. So, you don't need to spend $1,000 on advertising because you've already paid it. Therefore, advertising cost is zero. You don't need to pay a sales team or your sales rep a commission, because if you have your coaching pro clients and they're already happy and they already have good rapport, all you have to do is simply invite them to join. Would you like to continue working with us? You can record a video, you can send it in text, you can mention it in one of the coaching calls. So you've saved $1,000 on ads, you've saved $1,000 when it comes to sales commission. So what about delivering the service? Well, let's compare. So a first-time client will probably cost you more in time, energy, effort and resources, either from you or from your team, because you have to go through the onboarding process. You have to get someone to understand the system, your way of doing things, your framework. It would be new to them. In the same way as the example I mentioned with my running coach, that in the first few months, I was asking 10, 15 questions all the time, asking for clarifications. It took a lot of time in order for me to understand his way of doing things and why I should follow and buy into what he was doing. Now, when you become a repeat client, you already know this. Now with my running coach, yes, I still ask questions, yes, I still have things, but then they're more specific based on what I'm actually trying to do, instead of having a whole bunch of general questions that I'm asking because I'm trying to learn this process and figure things out. So with my running coach with me, at the start, he probably had to spend a couple of hours answering my questions every week, whereas now he might spend 30 minutes a month. The same will be true with your repeat clients as well, that when they join the second program, they already know what your system is, they already know how things work, and therefore, yes, there will be expenses involved, but therefore it will be less than the first time. So let's say it might cost you $500 per client in a repeat one. So let's compare the first time, the costs in this hypothetical, really simplified example of getting a first time client into your coaching program, and then the repeat client. So the first time client, remember, it costs $1,000 on ads, $1,000 in sales commission, and $1,000 in order to service the client. You have made, in order to sell a $5,000 offer, you have made $2,000 profit. The repeat client, you don't have to pay the $1,000 in ads, you don't have to pay the $1,000 in sales commission, and it costs you $500 to service the client. That way, you have spent $500 in order to get $5,000, and that is with the repeat client. So in that scenario, you have made a 10x return on your investment on the repeat client, and you've made $4,500 in profit, which is more than double the amount of profit that you made on the first time customer and client. It's much easier. Remember, a buyer is between 10 to 16 times more likely to become a repeat buyer than someone who's never bought from you in the past. And the easiest person to sell to is someone that you've already sold. So it's much easier to sell people to become your repeat clients. And in this hypothetical, super simplified example, that you made your repeat client, you've made a 10x return on your investment to service them, and you make more than double the profit you would than with the first time client. So from that standpoint alone, it makes sense to focus your business on getting more repeat clients, because you'll get a bigger return on your investments that you make in your business, and you'll get substantially more profit. And the name of the game in business is not to maximize your revenue, but it's to maximize your profit. So that is the concept, that's how it works, that's the math behind it, and that's why you should do it. So the next thing is, exactly how do you do this, and why do most people not do it? Let me give you an example. I remember speaking with a business coach. She was a fantastic person. She was a really good coach. Really good at listening, really good at making observations. And she said to me that she's a coach and she wants to get a result for her clients. And she wants them to have the transformation. It's her responsibility to help them get the result. Now, at the end of this, the end of the service, she feels uncomfortable asking them to pay more because the client goes to her in order to get the result. And then when they've got the result, that's it, her job's done, it's over kind of thing. And I thought, I understand why you say that, but that's not actually true. So I kind of explained to her that whenever you solve a problem for someone, you never enter into the so-called utopia, into the perfect world, because when you solve one problem, it opens the door to other problems, right? We all know that. So, for example, let's say that you had a target that you wanted to make $50,000 this year. You make $50,000 this year. Does this mean that you're happy and excited and dancing in the street? Or does the fact that now you've got $50,000 more, that you now have more problems as a result of it? Let's say, for example, that you dream of making $1 million a year. Let's say you've hit that reality, you are making $1 million a year. Do you suddenly live in this perfect, fantastic world because you've got $1 million a year? Absolutely not. In fact, making $1 million a year is probably far more stressful than making $50,000 a year. Why is that? Well, if you're running a business that makes $1 million a year, just think your expenses are going to be far than if you're making $50,000 a year. And then if you have a business operating at 50% profit margins, which is very uncommon, that means your annual expenses is $500,000. What happens if you go through a tough couple of months and then suddenly you have $500,000 in bills that you need to pay? Like I said, you imagine this perfect thing is going to happen, but then when you actually reach there, it unlocks other problems. Another example is if you listen to my videos or anything, you know that I'm a fan of distance running. And when you sign up for the race and you put in training for months and months and months and months, and then you do the race and then you cross, as you're going through the training, you're putting in 10, 15 hours a week training, and when you're going through the tough spots and you really don't want to be out there doing it, you just imagine the finish line, imagine the finish line, imagine the finish line. You get to the finish line and it's an anticlimax. In fact, for the day, because you've completed the task, you've got the endorphins flowing, but a day or two later you start to get depressed. Because what's next? That's just a reality of how things work. The same is true for coaching clients. When you help your coaching client get a specific result, you help them get the transformation, what happens next is you create the next problem. It's your job to find out what that new problem is, and then you can create a continuity-based service where your customers and clients are paying month after month, year after year, to help them solve the next problem. So back to the business coach that I mentioned before, and she said that it's her job to give them a transformation and a result. Yes, completely true. But if you create another problem for them, if you, the person, just help them get the result, don't provide them the solution to their next problem, immediately or eventually, they're going to find someone else that can help them solve that problem. So with that in mind, when you have that mentality of you want to help someone get a result and when your job's over, you have to think, I'm going to create another problem for them. What can I do to help solve the next problem and the next problem and the next problem? And how can I do that in a way that is cost effective for my client? And how can I deliver the biggest, best result possible for them and help them get the biggest, best long-term outcome and achieve all the goals that they want to do in a way that works out best for you? And when you can find that out, that's how you can build continuity that is natural and easy to go from first-time clients into repeat clients. So what you want to do is, when you can identify what the next problem is, and I was going to save this to last as part of the action steps, but I'll mention it now as well. The way to find out what the next problem is, surprise, surprise, is ask them. Ask your existing customers and clients that when you help them get this result, what is the next problem that it causes for them? What is the next problem that it gives them? Have a conversation with them. Ask your existing customers and clients, what can you do in order to enhance the quality of the service that you're delivering to them? What can you do in order to improve? What can you do for them to want to continue working with you for the next 3 months, 12 months, whatever it is? And do this research, collect the information, collect the data, and act on it. Find out what you can do to give the best possible results, the best possible experience. Get the feedback, act on it. And when you do this is how you're going to have this sort of long-term. This is what gives you the information on how you can feel certain that you are creating additional product, services, continuity-based offers that will help your customers and clients not only get the transformation they'll get in the first offer, but get multiple transformations over the long term, and all of this while working with you as one of your clients. That's how you do it. So a super simple way that you can actually implement this is that if you have a existing client, what you can do is, once the first time off program is finished, is you can just invite them, would you like to continue this service over a longer period of time at a lower price point? And let's say, for example, that your coaching program might be $3,500 for 90 days. And you can then say, okay, what would you like to continue for 6 months for $2,000? And as part of this, you'll get this and get this. You'll get the ongoing support, you'll get the ongoing accountability, and all these other good things. Some of them will say yes, some of them will say no, some of them you'll get no response. But that would be a really easy way that you can get people to continue. Let me give you an example. I found my business coach on Upwork. I signed up first for a 90-day coaching program. At the end of it, it was me that said, I like what we're doing, I like how we're working together, I want to continue. Can we continue this for a further 6 months? And I then said, can we have 6 months at the same price, but with less of this, and because that's how it works for me? And he said, okay. And then he sent the invoice, I paid invoice, and now I have 6 more months coaching with him. That's how it works for me. If you can strategically, if you know what the next problem is, what the next thing your coaching clients will want, you can have this pre-made, and then you can invite them to join it. Another example would be is that you help them achieve this goal. What is the next step? So an example of this is that, let's say you help people get certified to become, a fitness instructor, and your certification is, this is an internationally recognized certification for fitness instructors. When you have this, you'll stand above your competition that don't have it. It's good for your marketing. It might be $5,000 to get it, but you're going to be able to charge $50 an hour with your clients, etc., etc. And you get people to join your certification. At the end of this certification, what is the next logical problem that they have? Well, the next logical problem is that, okay, now I'm certified, how can I get clients? So you can have the next coaching program as the follow-on to that, which could be at the same price point, maybe higher, maybe lower. You have to kind of test the price point, and that would be how to get high-paying, high fitness clients. It could be something along the lines of how to make $100,000 a year as a fitness instructor, as a private fitness instructor, and then you'd create the coaching program based around that. The next thing that a newly certified fitness instructor would want to do, and then if you really want to make it powerful, you can add some kind of a guarantee that yes, we will help you get this result, guaranteed kind of thing. And then you can think about, so what happens when someone makes $100,000 a year? what would be the next thing that they'd want. Maybe you wouldn't have a specific program, but maybe you would then have some kind of a continuity program after how to make $100,000 a year as a fitness instructor. So you're providing the ongoing coaching, the ongoing accountability, so you can help them troubleshoot the problems that they're having in order to sustain and grow this income. Alternatively, you might want to create an offer that cross-sells, and that might be that, well, okay, what about people who want to have their own fitness studio? What about people that want a fitness business? And then you can create an offer based around that as well. And then you can create another offer on top of that as, well, okay, so you're working with people now who want to have a fitness business. So why don't you offer done for you marketing services at a premium price that comes with a guarantee? You get the point. These are more ways that when you identify what the next problem is, you can add the next offers in, you can add the continuity in, and then you get people that would pay a one-time fee to join your first program, and then they pay they join the next program, they then go on to monthly continuity, or they go on to this and go on to that. And as long as you're continuing to fill up your first program, and then get 10 to 30% of people that join the first program to join the next. Remember what I said before, that you get a substantially higher return on your investment when you get first-time customers and clients to become repeat customers and clients, and you can get double, triple the profit that you do. So that's the third way and some examples. So in the last part of this podcast, I want to share with you how I took a $1,000 client to make more than $30,000, and how I got up more than $180,000 from another client, and then we'll conclude this with a couple of action steps on what you can do right now. So I want to give you these two case studies using me as an example, so that you can see what I did, how I did, and you can then extrapolate. You can extrapolate this and apply it to your own situation. So first of all, several years back, I was a freelancer before I started my company, where we work with multiple clients, and I relied on Upwork. I was a freelancer while I was a digital nomad traveling around the world with my wife. All this was before my son was born, of course. And I remember one day when I got my first $1,000 from a single client. This $1,000 was to write a sales letter and to basically write an email promotion in order to get people to the sales page, and I got $1,000 for doing this, plus, if I remember correctly, a small percentage on top of that from us. This project took me 4 months to do, doing all the research, doing everything with it. I probably put in 100 hours in order to do this, and I was over the moon when that promotion brought in $12,000 or so for this particular client. I got my $1,000 paid upfront, which it blew my mind at the time, and then I got a couple of $100 extra as a commission afterwards. I was blown away by it at the time, despite it taking 4 months to do. So once we've done this promotion, the next logical step is with this client is, well, why don't we implement a system like a daily email system, so that we can run a promotion like this every few months. We send the daily emails to nurture the prospects. You want to show up consistently and frequently in the inbox to get the attention, the interest, etc., etc. But I wasn't nowhere near as knowledgeable and experienced as I am now. But I get them to agree to a monthly fee of, I think it was, I really can't remember, a monthly fee of maybe $1,000 in order to do the daily emails, and then we run this promotion every couple of months. Well, I worked with this client for probably 18 months, and over that time, I was delivering daily emails, something that you needed every single month. You needed to create the new assets, you needed the new ideas, you needed the data analysis to find out what works, and then you needed to have a fresh idea for the promotion. And all of this was great because it was generating revenue for the company, which was struggling at the time. I helped them introduce a $25,000 offer, and I made the company a significant return on their investment. The point here is that I initially had a client for a $1,000 project. It took me a lot of time in order to deliver on it at the time. Afterwards, when most people would have sort of stopped and moved on to the next one, where you get the next client, takes time to find them, you have to speak to them, you have to do the market research, you have to learn about the offers and all of that other stuff, and then it takes you a substantial amount of time in order to kind of put the assets together, because you're learning from new. Instead of doing that, I just ask them, would you like the next thing? Yes. Okay, would you like the next thing? Would you like the next thing? And then this continued until a point where it was no longer viable to continue, and then it ended. And that's how I turned a $1,000 one-time project into $30,000+ over maybe 18 months. And the secret here is that I delivered an exceptional result that the client was pleased with to start off with. They had a 12x return on their $1,000 investment, and it just made sense for them to continue afterwards because they got the return on the investment. And the contract ended when they no longer got a return on their investment for a whole bunch of reasons I'm not going to go into here, which was completely out of my control. So the next case study here is how I got a $180,000 client, even though they fired me 3 times. So in this case, I had a client come through as a referral. The first time project that I did with them was a extremely low entry point based on the size of their business. Their business was doing mid 7-figure US a year. And I sent them, and I wrote a couple of emails for a couple of $100 with the purpose of booking calls. And so from my emails, I think they made a few sales. So they had a 10 or 20x return on their investment on the very first project that we did together. So if I remember correctly, I wrote 5 emails for $500. This made them 2 sales of a unit that cost $5,000. So they paid me $500, they made $10,000, and then, yes, this is good, what can we do next? So then I went from that, and I can't remember the exact process of what I went through, but long story short, within a short time, they were paying me $10,000 per month in order to do the daily emails, and this was generating them probably $50,000-$60,000 per month in sales as a direct result of the emails. And then we had the promotions and all of this stuff. And then after about 12 months, because of financial constraints in the company, I'm a contractor, they decided they couldn't work with me anymore because, well, the contractor was the first to go, they want to retain the staff. And so instead of me accepting this, I said to them, well, what if I deliver this service without all of these other things that I did before? So it costs you less, and you only have to pay me after you've received the money. Fine, okay, that's a no-brainer. If you make me, potentially $50,000 a month, and I'm only paying you $5,000 a month, yes, absolutely. And then I'm going to pay you. So we're going to receive the $50,000 in January, and you invoice me in February. Absolutely, no-brainer. And so for me, that was even better because the way I negotiated it was that I'm only going to deliver this specific part of the service, which is the emails and this, without all of the other stuff that goes with it, such as the weekly calls and all the weekly this and that, because honestly, it kind of felt like it was a full-time job for me, even though I didn't have to do much because I felt obligated to be in Slack and reply to things and give this and give that. Now, it took me, I got half the amount that I got before, but it took me 10 times less time and 10 times less stress. Enjoyed it. Next thing came, and the same thing, they financial problems, financial constraints, so they no longer wanted to continue with the daily emails. So I said to them that, look, this is the results that you got in the past. You were consistently getting a 5x or 6x return on your investment from this service. I understand that you don't want to continue doing it because of costs. Why don't I create a system for you so I can train your team to do the daily emails on your behalf? You don't need me, you can do it yourself. And okay, how much is this going to cost? I said, well, let's do it for the cost of 2 units of your coaching program, which means that this system only has to sell 2 units of your $5,000 program, and you broke even, and then you have an infinite return on investment into the future because you've got the system, your team can manage it, you don't need me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fantastic idea. I created the system for them, I explained to the team how to do it, and then the problem that this created was that the team didn't want to do it, it's too difficult, they didn't have the experience doing the daily emails, so on and so forth. So I said to them, okay, so what about if I write the emails based on the system I've got for you? And what we'll do here is, instead of charging you a monthly fee, what if I do the entire year's worth of emails for you? What if I do Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and the fee will be 1 unit of your program for each quarter. So for Q1, 5,000, Q2, 5,000, Q3, 5,000, Q4, 5,000. And for an additional 5,000, if you like, I can pre-write and pre-schedule a whole bunch of promotions as well. So every quarter, you have daily emails every day generating book calls. Every daily email has a call to action to a call. And then you have a end of the quarter promotion, all pre-done, everything you don't have to do. Again, jumped at the offer, and I got 25k from that as well. But the beauty of it at the end is that it did not take me much time at all, because I'd already written a whole bunch of emails. I already had the data on all of this, so I recycled, repurposed their content, reused promotions we've done in the past that have just spiced it all up. And then at each time, I created every time that the service naturally ended, I could pick up on what the next problem is and then make an offer for what the next problem is, and then they said yes every time because I made it a no-brainer for them, and it just continued and continued and continued and continued until it reached a natural end where I got to a point where I'm kind of bored working with them. I don't get stimulated anymore. I'll continue, and so I stopped kind of making the proposals to them, and so that's what it's there. The lesson with this one here is that every time you work with a coaching client, when you reach the end, you create the next problem. Make sure you have the solution ready in order to offer it to them, so they continue to buy from you time and time again. And every time that they want to end and they want to stop, find out why, and then make them a no-brainer, irresistible offer that they can't really refuse. And the way to do that, well, if it's from a business perspective, it's much easier, because it's quite easy. But you pay me this much and I'm going to get you 10x. You only pay me my fee after we've delivered the money. It's a no-brainer. As opposed, and it's just the same kind of thing as pay me $5,000 a month. Except for you say pay me $5,000 a month, and people look at it that you are an expense. Instead of saying I'm going to make you $50,000 this month, the reason I can say that is because on average over the last 12 months, this is how much we've made per month from email. Let's sort of use that data and project forward. And so I'm going to make you $50,000 in January, and you pay me $5,000 in February. I'm going to make you $50,000 in February based on what the previous data suggests, and then you pay me $5,000 in March. That is exactly the same as you pay me $5,000. You pay me $5,000, and I'm going to invoice you next month. One's an expense, one is an investment, where you get a massive return. And that's sort of all with a positioning, and that's something that you can do too. Just figure out what the problem is, figure out the best way to position it, and then that's the sort of how you make the no-brainer, and that's how you get the continuous income. Okay, so in the last few minutes, I want to give you some action steps on what you can do, so how you can actually apply the lessons here. So first of all, the key theme is that when someone finishes the one-time program with you, you need to identify the next problem and then have some kind of an offer so you can invite them to join the next offer. So what your homework is to do, or what your action step is to do, is ask your current clients and ask your former clients, send an email out and ask them that after you've worked with me, or after you are working with me, however you want to phrase it, we helped you get this specific result. What was the next problem that it gave you? You should get back some responses, take it seriously, and then brainstorm and think, what can you do right now in order to create the next offer, the next continuity-based offer that takes less time for you. You don't have to have much time, energy, and effort to do it, and then invite people into it. So say, for example, if this is a bit challenging, when your current clients finish their coaching program, all you have to do would be Would you like to continue this service for another 6 months at the same price point where you get X, Y, and Z? And then you can get the next coaching client and next coaching client and next coaching client. Okay, this has run on for almost an hour. Time is up. I have other things scheduled right now. So I hope you have enjoyed the content in this podcast. Hope you found it extremely valuable. I've had a lot of fun sharing this information with you. If you would like us to help you implement any of the strategies here, you will find this on how you can get in touch and how we can help you in the description below. And I practice what I preach, so I will give you an irresistible offer. And my irresistible offer to you is we will help you get your next coaching clients. We will only send the invoice after you have received the payment from your coaching clients. And on this entry level offer, we will guarantee that you will double your investment or you don't pay us. And more information on how to take us up on that offer below. That's all I've got for you. Make it a great day and see you next time.